Ashtonville was an old town. It had seen a lot of years. Some said it held a lot of secrets. The oldest house in Ashtonville stood on a hill. It was a mansion once, grand and beautiful. Now it was just a skeleton. Empty windows stared out like vacant eyes. Locals whispered about the house. They said it was haunted. But the truly terrifying thing was below. Underneath the house lay a basement. It was a place of darkness and dread. No one dared to go near it. Stories about the basement circulated through Ashtonville. Some said it was a gateway to another world. Others claimed it housed unspeakable creatures. No one knew for sure, because anyone who dared to enter never returned. Some nights, strange noises echoed from below. And those who heard them were never the same again. But one person, a young woman named Ali, was determined to uncover the truth. She had heard the whispers and the stories, but she wasn't afraid. Ali believed that the secrets of Ashtonville's haunted basement were meant to be revealed, and so she took the first step into the unknown. In the basement, a young boy sat alone, whispering to himself. "Why do they whisper? What do they want?" he muttered, his voice trembling. The darkness seemed to close in, and the whispers grew louder. "I can't take it anymore," he cried, his fear palpable. But then he steeled himself, determined to find the source of the whispers. He knew he had to face his fears, to uncover the truth behind the whispers. And so, with a deep breath, he stepped into the unknown. Ali laughed at the stories. He didn't believe them. Ali was fearless. He loved adventure. His friends called him reckless. Ali didn't care. He thrived on the thrill of the unknown. One night, Ali's friends dared him. They dared him to enter the basement. Ali accepted instantly. He wasn't afraid, not even a little. "I'll go tonight," Ali declared. His voice was full of bravado. His friends exchanged nervous glances. They knew Ali was stubborn. They couldn't stop him. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Ali prepared himself. He grabbed a flashlight. He checked the batteries twice. He wasn't going in unprepared. Night fell. The wind howled like a hungry wolf. Shadows stretched long and menacing. Ali stood before the house. He felt a shiver run down his spine. He pushed it aside. Fear was for the weak. He took a deep breath and walked towards the house. Each step echoed in the stillness of the night. The closer he got, the colder it seemed to become. The air grew heavy. It was like the house itself was exhaling a breath of icy despair. The basement door was hidden at the side of the house. It was old and made of wood, reinforced with rusty metal bars. A heavy padlock held it shut. Ali fumbled with the lock. His hands were shaking now. He ignored the tremor. With a loud clang, the padlock fell to the ground. The door creaked open. A musty smell wafted out, thick with the stench of decay and something else. Something unidentifiable. Something sinister. Ali hesitated for a moment. Doubt gnawed at the edges of his courage. He pushed it away. He had come this far. He wouldn't turn back now. He took a deep breath and stepped inside. The basement swallowed him whole. The darkness was absolute. Ali fumbled for his flashlight, his heart pounding against his ribs. He flicked it on. The beam cut through the darkness, weak and insignificant. The air was thick and stale. Cobwebs hung from every corner, thick as curtains. The floor was dirt and debris. It felt cold and damp beneath his feet. Ali shone his flashlight around, trying to pierce the oppressive darkness. He could hear the rustle of movement. Something scurried in the shadows, just beyond the reach of his light. Ali's breath caught in his throat. He told himself it was just rats, but deep down, a primal fear began to stir. Section 5. A Glimmer in the Black. Ali took a hesitant step forward. The floorboards groaned beneath his weight. The sound echoed through the cavernous space. He swore he could hear whispers answering back, faint and chilling. He continued deeper into the basement, his flashlight beam dancing across the walls. The air grew colder. Ali pulled his jacket tighter around himself. He could feel his heart hammering in his chest. Suddenly, his flashlight flickered. The beam sputtered and died. Ali was plunged into absolute darkness. He cursed under his breath, fumbling for the switch. He clicked it repeatedly, but the light wouldn't catch. Panic welled up inside him, threatening to overwhelm him. He was trapped in the darkness, alone with whatever lurked in the shadows. He could feel their presence now, closing in on him. He could feel their hot, fetid breath on the back of his neck. Section 6. Eyes in the dark. Then he saw them. 2 points of crimson light cut through the darkness. They blinked slowly, malevolently. Ali's blood ran cold. They weren't the eyes of any animal he knew. He backed away slowly, never taking his eyes off the glowing orbs. His hand trembled as he reached for his flashlight. He had to get out of there, now! As he fumbled for the flashlight, his hand brushed against something cold and slimy. He recoiled instantly, his skin crawling with revulsion. A low growl vibrated through the air, sending chills down his spine. Ali finally managed to switch on his flashlight. The beam flickered to life, illuminating the creature before him. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. Section 7. Trapped. The creature was humanoid in shape, but its skin was a sickly green, slick with a viscous fluid. Its eyes glowed red in the darkness, burning with a malevolent intelligence. Sharp fangs protruded from its mouth, dripping with a substance that looked disturbingly like saliva. Ali stumbled backward, his foot catching on a loose floorboard. He fell to the ground with a thud, his flashlight skittering out of reach. He scrambled to his feet, his heart pounding against his ribs. He was surrounded. More pairs of glowing eyes appeared in the darkness, encircling him. The creatures closed in, their movements eerily silent and graceful. Ali felt a surge of primal terror, raw and consuming. He was trapped. Section 8. Fight or flight. Adrenaline surged through Ali's veins. He knew he had to do something. He couldn't just stand there and let them take him. He kicked out wildly, connecting with something solid. A sharp hiss echoed through the darkness. He scrambled backward, his back hitting a damp wall. He was cornered. The creatures advanced, their eyes glowing with anticipation. Ali closed his eyes, bracing himself for the inevitable, but the attack never came. He opened his eyes cautiously. The creatures were gone. The basement was silent, except for the sound of his own ragged breathing. Ali let out a shaky breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding. He wasn't sure how he'd escaped. He didn't question his luck. He just knew he had to get out of there, now. Section 9. The legend continues. Ali stumbled through the darkness, his heart pounding in his chest. He didn't stop running until he burst out of the basement door and into the cool night air. He never looked back. He never told anyone what he had seen down there. But the experience changed him. He was no longer the reckless boy who had laughed in the face of danger. The basement remained, a silent testament to the terrors that lurked beneath the surface. The legend of the haunted basement lived on, a chilling reminder that some mysteries are best left unexplored.